I'm going to share a story about something that happened to me when I was 14 years old. How many of you are 14? Okay, not too many. ¿Cuántos tenéis 14 años? Okay, 14. You know, I'm a PK. You know what a PK is? A pastor kid. So my father, he was a pastor. I'm a PK. And when I was 14 years old, you know, I wasn't that excited, you know, to be a PK. You know, usually pastors, Sabbath afternoon, after they preach sermon, Sabbath morning, they eat with the people, Sabbath afternoon, they just go and visit people. When I was 14, you know, the thing of visiting people wasn't for me. So I remember a special Sabbath afternoon, my mom told me and my brother, Jonathan, we need to go and visit an old lady. I said, what? Yeah, we need to, you have to come with me. We need to go to visit an old lady. I said, no way, are you kidding me? An old lady? You know, 14 years old, the truth, I was not excited at all to go to see an old lady. You know why? You know what old ladies do when they see a young guy or young lady? What do they do? Well, I remember my grandmother, my grandma, every time I came back from school to the house, she was living with us. Oh, you're back. You're 200 kisses. And you know that old ladies, they don't shave. You know they don't shave. Old ladies, they don't shave, no se afeitan. And some old ladies, they have some, you know, when they kiss you, it's like you're kissing a cacti. So at least that's my experience with my grandmother. Every time she kissed me, it was like, oh man, she kissed me again. So I remember when my mom told me we're going to visit an old lady, I said, no way, I'm not going. She said, come on, you have to come with me. It's a friend of the family. You have to visit her. I said, no, I don't want to go. But you know how moms are. You know how moms are? You know the meaning of the word they insist? So my mom, she insisted. Okay, no, look. I told your father you were going to come with me and we were going to visit the old lady and we're going to spend time with the lady. I said, no, no way, I'm not going. Finally, when she was insisting, she said one magical word. She said, okay, Jonathan, come with me to visit the old lady because she lives in a house. Probably you can think, what, Spain? Houses? Where do you live, guys, in Spain? Well, we live in apartments. At least 32 years ago, almost everybody lived in apartments, not houses. Houses was for wealthy people that had money. So 14 years old, in my 14 years of life, I never visited a house. Always apartments. Floor number 5, floor number 12, I remember in one building, floor number 12. I was closer to heaven, but I love houses. So I remember when my mom told me, you know, Jonathan, she lives in a house. I said, okay. So probably I can go. I'm going to be in a house. For the first time in my life, I'll be in a house. So I remember I was excited. You know, 14 years old, I was excited. I'm going to be in a house. I'm going to be inside of a house. For the first time, a house. So I remember when we arrived to see the lady, I remember, I have the picture in my head. I will never forget that house. Beautiful house. Made out of stones and wood. Beautiful, beautiful, extraordinary house. You could see the yard, all the yard, green, well mowed. It was beautiful, a beautiful yard, and a lot of pots with flowers. Oh, it was beautiful. I remember when I approached the house, this beautiful, extraordinary house, and I approached the door. You know, there was this big knock, you know. There was no ring. Ding dong. No. It's an old house. You know, you boom, boom, an old door made out of thick wood. So the old lady opened the house. You know what she did? Who said it? She kissed me. She kissed me and kissed me. Oh, it's so good to see you. And it was like my grandmother. A cacti. But I was, you know, I'm going to get into the house. I'm going to get inside the house and I'm going to see the beautiful house. So I step into the house. Wow. I've been in the army. You know, I did a lot of activities in the army. And I remember one special activity. We used to have a backpack, 30 kilos in our backs, 30 kilos, walking and walking and walking through the mountains for hours. Sometimes we started during the day and we walked through the night, 30, 40 kilometers, non-stop. And I remember we did an activity like that for 9 days. After the first day walking, everybody smelled bad. It was, you know that smell when you don't take a shower? The smell most of you will have during the weekend? The second day, oh man, I don't want to put up my arm. I mean, the third day, nobody cares because your nose is dead. Well, that house, when I step into the house, it was like the second day in the army. Oh, what? What's that? It looked like there was a skunk dead in the house, inside the house. There was magazines all over the floor, dust on the furniture. I remember I could have signed, on top of the furniture. The smell, the dust, it was a mess of the house inside. My mom started talking with the old lady, women, when they start talking, they talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And I thought it was going to be a short visit. But they sat down, they continued on talking, and I was nervous. I didn't feel comfortable in that house. I was nervous. And when you're nervous, you get thirsty. But I wasn't sure if it would be a good idea to ask in that house for a glass of water. But my mom and that lady, they continue on talking and talking. I said, no, I need a glass of water. So I finally said to that, it was a nice lady. Look, I'm thirsty. Can I have a glass of water, please? She said, oh, yes, darling, come with me to the kitchen. So I followed the lady. She opened the door of the kitchen. And you know what was in the kitchen? Chickens. And they were not dead. They were alive. Inside the kitchen, chickens eating. And you know what a chicken does when it eats? You know what it does? You call it number one or number two. Well, you know they do both together. You know that they do both together. So the floor of the kitchen, I was walking like, oh man, I'm going to step on one of those. But you know, the old lady, she was comfortable with that. She was walking like, no problem. So she grabbed the glass of water. Probably the day they made it, it was transparent. When she gave it to me, it was yellow. She poured, water on the glass of water, and she gave it to me. Hey, here it is, darling. I grab it. I look at it, and for almost half an hour, I had the glass of water in my hand. I couldn't drink it. If we rewind a little bit in the history, do you remember how was the house from outside? It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. Made out of stone and wood, green, pots with flowers, beautiful. It's a house, when you see that kind of house, you want to get into the house. But when I got into the house was a mess. Do you have your Bibles with you? Guys, you must bring your Bibles. It's a Bible. With a Bible. It's an iPad with a Bible. Okay, first of Samuel. First of Samuel chapter 16. You remember when God tells Samuel, you're gonna go to a place I will show you. You go to Bethlehem, and you're gonna find somebody there. I will tell you who is gonna be the next king of Israel. I'm sick of Saul. Saul is not longer belonging to me. I'm sick of Saul. I'm going to show you who is going to be the next king of Israel. So Samuel went there, and it's very interesting. Verse number 6. When they arrived, Samuel saw Eliab. Samuel saw Eliab and thought, surely the Lord's anointed stands here before the Lord. So Samuel goes to a place where the Lord told him, I will show you who is going to be the next king of Israel. But then Samuel saw a guy that probably was tall, strong, attractive, a nice guy. Even the prophet, if the prophet was not in tune with God, if a prophet is not in tune with God, if a pastor is not in tune with God, if a Pathfinder director is not in tune with God, if you, Pathfinder, if you're not in tune with God, you can make mistakes. And you will make mistakes. And Samuel did a big mistake. He forgot about the Lord. He forgot about God. He saw the one he thought, that's going to be the king. Because he's nice. Because he's attractive. That has to be the one. I'm positive. It has to be him. But if you continue reading, verse number 7. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And that was my experience with that house. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful from outside. A mess from inside. And you know, the Lord is looking at you, is looking at me tonight, and the Lord is looking at you, and he doesn't care. Do you think the Lord cares about the color of your eyes? if they're blue or brown or green? Do you think he cares about how you dress right now? Do you think he cares if you're taller or smaller or thicker or thinner? Do you really think he cares if you're Hispanic? Do you think he cares if you're African American or if you're Caucasian or if you're from Europe like myself? Who cares? God is looking at your heart. God is looking at you right now, at your heart. Like he looked at Eliab's heart and he said to the prophet, Eliab's heart is not ready for me. He looks nice, he's tall, he's beautiful. But he's not clean inside. He's not clean inside. And sometimes we try to look beautiful outside. And I'm not saying we must look ugly. I'm not saying that. But we take a lot of time on taking care of our outside. The way we look. If I look nice, do I look nice with this? But we don't take the time to clean our hearts with Jesus. And Jesus is looking at you tonight. And he can see how is your heart right now. Do you want to give your heart to Jesus? Do you want to allow Jesus to get inside your heart and clean your heart? How many of you want to do that? I want to see your hands. How many of you want to allow Jesus to get into their hearts and to clean and transform your heart? I want to see your hands. I'm positive and sure that God will work with you this weekend, during this camporee. I'm positive if you allow him to get into your heart, he will transform you and you will look nice outside and better inside. And I know most of you live in a time where you're looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I know. How many of you already have a boyfriend or a girlfriend? How many of you? Let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. For those who already have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, work together in cleaning your hearts with Jesus. And for those who don't have already a boyfriend or a girlfriend, don't look for somebody that only has a beautiful appearance. Look for somebody that is in tune with God. And that will be the perfect couple for you.